and I can't, and I honestly can only be grateful for the fact that I had to do it on my own as well.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure that
yeah,
that was what you needed, obviously, like to realize that, you weren't going to be normal, like from this injury. And so you had to do something to get some normalcy back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if I had someone holding my hand the whole way, I would have leaned too much into that, and I wouldn't have done all this work on my own, and I wouldn't have made the progress that I've made.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So man, the mindset is awesome.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You definitely have a strong mindset. There's so many people that play the victim card, especially these days, and you did not let yourself become a victim of your circumstance. And yeah, I commend you for that. That's awesome.
Thank you. I mean, I had my moments. I had those waves where I hit rock bottom, and I was definitely in that victim mode, but I had to find my way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So what is it now that you do? Do you still, I mean, you're still probably doing supplements. You're still probably, you're getting your fish oils and healthy foods and all that kind of stuff. What's kind of like your routine now?
My routine now is, it's been a little disturbed from what I normally would do, because I'm helping take care of my grandmother now, who has dementia, which is a whole interesting thing, because I see her brain deteriorating in very similar patterns as to what I went through. And it's just very interesting to see that other side of it. But it's also this very hard situation. So some of my routines and patterns I haven't been as disciplined on. But in recovering from this, I really learned, I found all these different classes and teachers and things that I got into to really just learn about myself, because I was so discouraged by the doctors at that point that I was like, no external doctor is going to know me better than I know myself. So I'm going to learn myself to the deepest levels that I can understand it, so I know what's best for me. And I mean, I completely changed my diet. I basically realized I can't really even eat meat, because it just aggravates all of my emotions and all of this things. So I completely changed my diet, and I went into a plant-based diet, and I still follow that. And so I've had to readjust all these little things to make sure I am getting the omega fats that I need and all of that. So it's been this whole learning curve. I just try and eat really, really clean and eat really well and get the exercise is hard for me. I still have issues with blood pressure changes, making some of my symptoms come back. So getting really good exercise has been a struggle that I'm still working on. And I just more try and make sure I stay centered. I meditate a lot. I do a lot of alternative modalities for healing. I do reflexology. I use essential oils, and all of these small little things culminate into just taking the edge off into finding the path. Yeah.
Do you ever float?
Yes, I have. And I do still do hyperbaric treatments as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
The float tanks are amazing, though. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I did that for the first time in Basalt, Colorado. And it was so, like, I had, like, visions and stuff like that. It was just a really
Are you sure
relaxing.
They didn't dose you with a little psilocybin?
Well, I might have been kind of high, but
but seriously, when you're weightless like that,
it's just a weird feeling, and
you're not focused on any body. You're in pain. You're not focused on any of that kind of stuff, and
your subconscious kind of takes over.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is awesome, and I think it's very healing.
Oh yeah, if I could, I would get one at my house.
I know. They just opened one not too far from us.
Okay.
We have one just not too far from the gym here, actually.
That's good.
But
take advantage of that.
Oh yeah. And so are you doing anything to like give back, like, because a lot of times people that go through an injury like that want to give back and like share with the world their goodness or whatever.
Yeah, and of course I have these the big aspirations and big goals. Like, of course, I want to write a book. I want to like impact as many people as possible.
For sure.
Those things culminating right now isn't really happening.
Yeah.
So it's still like, yeah, my goals aren't exactly like set in stone or clear, but I do I've allowed myself to just accept that I can make plenty of difference in just small exchanges every single day.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when the opportunity comes up, I had a friend whose father died of a brain cancer, and them watching their father go through that, and where they actually removed the tumor and part of his brain was very close to where my injury was.
Okay.
So he again had very similar.
Oh.
I was able to communicate. Yeah, I was able to communicate with him. Yeah, I could be on his level, and because he couldn't really speak very well.
Yeah.
But I was able to communicate with him without that because I'd been through that.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. I hope I helped the family in some way.
I'm sure
being
you did.
able to have that, you know.
Just that level of
moments.
Yeah, just that level of understanding and compassion towards someone that you might not ever have thought about or whatever, but it's just to have someone in your corner.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and to be on the other side of that and not understand why someone's acting the way they're acting. Because you can't, unless your brain has short-circuited or been through an injury or something like that, there's no way to understand what that's like. It's to grasp that it just is unrealistic. So I hope to bridge that gap for some people. And
I think you're doing awesome because you're saying that you're helping take care of your grandma, right?
Yeah.
And so you're doing service every single day.
Oh yeah.
And
that's huge.
That is huge. Showing her that sense of compassion and taking care of her is huge. And that's actually, I feel like a part of the healing process for all of us with whatever we've gone through is giving back, showing that compassion, like Shane said. That's huge for all of us to heal and become better people.
Absolutely.
Well, is there we usually ask this question. Is there something that you need to do every single day, like you can't go without?
Well, eating for one.
Well, of course.
No, I really do have to. It's more about like managing my space and my boundaries. That's what I have to do every day. I have to very carefully know my limits.
Do you find yourself being like kind of OCD after your injury?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, not. Like some things I do want things to be organized because it's just so much. And it's not that I'm OCD. It's that it's just so much less brain processing.
Yep. And it's just makes
it put in the same place every day.
Yeah. And
just if I don't have to look for things. Yeah.
On you personally. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more about conserving energy because I don't know what the day's going to bring. And if I run out of processing power in my brain, I still go into a full shutdown mode.
Yeah. I kind of just laughed because I have this exact same symptoms or whatever that I go through on a day-to-day basis. So
that's why we don't do the podcast at 11 at night.
Yeah.
Good
would
point.
never work.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd work for most people.
Yeah.
Even though we did have one last week from Australia, it was like morning for him.
Oh, and you had to, Yeah,
he was like early morning. He's like, it's tomorrow.
It was
He's
like
in the future.
7 o'clock their time, and it was like 3 o'clock our time.
Afternoon,
the next day, but they were a day ahead.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, I'm talking to you in the future. It's kind of cool.
And we said, put enough of the shrimp on the bobby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Samantha, how can people like follow you and stay up to date with your progress and stuff like that?
Yeah, like your social, all that kind of stuff. How can people follow you?
I'm really not great at social media. I go in and out of it, and I honestly haven't documented much of this journey. It's for some reason been this very private thing to me. So that's why even doing this podcast felt like this whole huge, this big thing to do, because I haven't really put it on a platform.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure like not having someone there to take pictures and stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
I have none of that.
Pictures are so invaluable to me.
Yeah.
For sure. Because
because-
you can see the progress.
Yeah.
Or in video. Like,
A video
Yeah.
and pictures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Well,
I have
So
none of that.
we've had some other people on the podcast that have started their own blogs.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Jesse
And
Munch.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was thinking of. And the thing is, you could just start by telling little bits and pieces of your story.
Yeah.
And that blog can accumulate over time,
Well,
and then you turn that into a book.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
That's a good idea.
And that's just a way for you to, like, utilize some of your experience and all that kind of stuff. And you said you do want to write a book someday,
Yeah.
and you can just write it slowly like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I do a lot of, I guess I do like a video log. I do audio clips of things that come up when I'm processing stuff. I do have a small collection of things I have started. I just need to start getting them more organized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not trying to put pressure on you. Like, we better see a book in like a year. No pressure. But we do like inspiring people and influencing change in others.
Yeah.
So it's always awesome to see how people are doing and their progress and their journey. So
Yep.
Absolutely. And I mean, I am on Facebook. I just I haven't gotten super personal there at this point, but.
Yeah. And like with your blog, like John was saying, you could even do that just on Facebook to start out, because
people do that.
I know, like, I had to have someone, my cousin, build me my website because I know nothing about that.
Yeah.
So.
Me either.
I'm right there too. I'm trying to do it for myself right now, and it's
Imagine
hard.
that she's trying to do something by herself.
Yeah. That's a common theme.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing awesome. We would love to hear from you again, just to kind of keep up to date, see how you're doing, and all that kind of stuff.
That'd be great.
Is there anything you'd like to, leave our listeners? Any words of wisdom, anything like that?
Yeah, I think I just want to just remind people to be their own biggest cheerleader.
Okay.
And if you 100% have your back, then you can get through anything, really. Like the more you love yourself, then the less just these external things that happen in life can affect you, and you can overcome things you never thought.
I'm actually reading a book by Sean Whalen, and it's all about core 4, which is
it's body balance, being, and business.
Yeah. And he says to focus on the core 4 areas of your life every day and put some type of effort into it every day. So he wakes up in the morning and he works out, and then, he
takes care of his
reads.
body.
Yeah, he reads, and then he works out, and it's just important to have a routine, I think.
Well, and like you said, that self-love is very important. I think people put that one aside all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I tell my clients all the time, like, hey, listen, this is how easy it is. Okay, so this is how simple it is. It doesn't mean it's easy, okay, but it is simple. You look at yourself in the mirror, and you tell yourself that you love you. So you can either say I love you, or you could say like I love me. You can say any which way you want, whatever rings and feels better to you. So I could say, hey, I love you, John. You know what I mean? And I could even be the coach and be like, hey, you deserve love. You are love.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And that really helps a ton. It helped me through my experiences.
Yeah, I really like that. And I even for me, because I was coming from a place of not loving myself at all.
Sure.
And even that felt out of my reach. And so for me, what flipped the switch for me is that I hit a place of being absolute rock bottom. And I didn't even want to live anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why I survived this just to suffer. I didn't even want to live anymore. And I hit the absolute rock bottom, and I decided, I have to change this. And I decided I have to find something to be grateful for.
Yep.
And I, in that moment, said, what do I have to be grateful for? And I fell upon, I am able to pull air into my lungs. So I took